So we're here with Chief Warrant Officer 5, Dan Sysol.
That's correct.
Is that all of the words that I need to use to introduce you?
Yes, that sounds great.
There are a lot of them.
There are.
Like, I'm just Andy Summers.
There are not a lot of Sysols. There are not a lot of Sysols. It's, like I said before, usually people would mispronounce it in the first take, but you did perfect.
Oh, awesome. All right, so that's good. I don't want to upset anyone in uniform about this already.
You will not.
But, well, welcome to our studio. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
And, you know, country music, are you a country music fan?
I am. I do like country music.
So you know that, I mean, we're just big supporters of the military. So it's important for us to talk to guys like you about what you do and you know, talk a little bit about why you do it. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I've been serving in the military, particularly in reserves, for over a span of 23 years. I started out in the Air National Guard in the military police field. Then I went over to the Army Guard to fly helicopters. So the Army trained me to fly helicopters for 6 years. I had the privilege to fly the Cobra attack helicopter for 6 years. And because of my civilian job, because I'm a reservist, I actually am a police officer for the Toms River Police Department, Toms River, New Jersey. So with that, I kind of switched over to CID, which is Criminal Investigation Division, for the Army Reserve. So it's basically, the best way to describe CID, it's like the FBI and Secret Service combined. We investigate anything felony related that has Army interest, and we also provide executive protection for the Secretary of Defense on down. So anywhere they go, either from the Pentagon or overseas, we CID agents, special agents, actually provide the protection for those principals.
Do you have a special, I mean, you have an amazingly gorgeous uniform, but do you have a special CID jacket too?
Believe it or not, CID agents are the one very few MOSs in the Army that actually wear civilian clothes, which is one of the perks, you would say, with the military. But yeah, it's almost like the NCIS guys.
Right.
With yeah, so that's kind of one of the perks being in that career field, that you get to wear suits, you get to travel all over the world. So it's a pretty amazing career field. It's done a lot for me in my civilian career, and it's been again an honor to serve and protect the people that lead this country and our military to do great things.
So you've obviously dedicated your life to public service. Where does that come from?
I think ever since I've been in high school, I remember particularly a New Jersey State policeman came and did a talk in one of our classrooms. And just the way he talked about law enforcement, sense of service, I think right then in that moment, I've always had that sense that I wanted to serve my community. And as I progressed into college, my family couldn't really afford to send me to college, so I looked at the military as an option to, number one, serve and also get my way and get through college, which I think was a great satisfaction for me because it made me appreciate my education a lot more, but also showed myself that I was giving something back to my community and my country by serving this great nation, which I love so much.
Yeah, that's amazing. So talk to us about Veterans Day. I mean, you know, we're here on this day honoring you and those who are serving and who have served before you. What does Veterans Day mean to you?
Well, Veterans Day is a great day of remembrance for all the men and women throughout our 250 years of service that have fought our nation's wars, served our community, and have in some cases paid the ultimate sacrifice to live the way we have and enjoy the freedoms we have. And I've always taken a great amount of pride in that day because I always reflect on the service I have and my brothers and sisters in arms who've served and continue to serve this day, because that sense of service and that pride that we feel that make this country so great. Because again, it's not for everybody, but the people that do serve are really true, and they serve with a lot of dignity, respect, and pride. And again, every time I see a veteran and see people out there, and again, we get a lot of thanks and respect from the citizens because they're always coming up to us and thank us, and it's a great privilege and honor to do so.
That must mean so much to you.
It does so much.
Yeah. My husband was taking someone, driving them to the airport, and this guy was from Australia, and they passed a billboard for the Marine Corps, and he said, "This is the only place I've ever been where you're actually advertising people to enlist in your military." It was so beyond him that we take such pride in it that it's like, hey, no, join our bridge, come on over here, and people, they do, which is pretty cool.
Every branch has got something to offer. I know we always have that rivalry back and forth, Marine Corps and Army, Air Force, but I'll be honest with you, I had the opportunity to serve in the Air Guard for 4 years. They were always very good to me, and anytime I see another fellow service member, again, it's always that sense of service that brings us together, that brotherhood and sisterhood, obviously, to make our service together to do the things we do for our nation and serve with pride.
I have 2 little kids, and when we're out and we see people in uniform, I will always speak to them and thank them for their service, and I encourage my kids to do the same, although sometimes they get a little shy, but I think it's important for them to see their father and I doing that. As a service member, what kind of advice would you give parents about teaching their kids about maybe what you do or what a life of service is?
Well, again, I myself have a 5-year-old son, so I can only go by, and I've also given talks to students too, and what I basically tell them is it's a calling. Service is a calling to your nation and community, but you should always want to serve your community and give back, because it's that sense of service that makes us great citizens and great people of this country. Because at the end of the day, we get so much from the country, giving back makes the circle complete and makes what we do great.
Awesome. What's the best part of your job?
There's so many best parts of the job, but I think getting out there, at this point in my career now, because I've been in it for a while, I think the best part is trying to mentor and bring up younger soldiers, to show them the right way to lead, to train and mentor other soldiers. Because you want to leave, as a warrant officer in my career field, what you always want to do is always leave the place better than you found it. It's kind of one of our mottos, one of our creed. So what I want to do is get out there and speak to the young soldiers, young enlisted soldiers who are coming up through the ranks, and make sure they understand the proper way to lead, coach, teacher, mentor, and so they can take the next phase of the military to the next generation and make sure we continue to stay great, continue to fight and deter any enemies from our country, and then continue to make our military the strongest and best prepared the nation's ever seen.
That's awesome. We often hear from parents whose children have decided to go into the military, and from a parental perspective, it's nerve-wracking. For as proud as you are for the decisions that your child is making, you're still an absolute nervous wreck. Do you have any advice on helping those parents get through those moments?
The advice I will give to this is to the parents out there, that the military, and again, this is my experience, the military has always taken great care of our nation's children who come and raise their hand to serve. They do everything they can to make sure they're protected by giving them the best training possible, they got the best equipment, and making sure they're ready and prepared to meet the challenges that our nation calls upon them to do. So I would always say to them that you're not only going and being in the best military, but the best military in the entire world. So be safe, assured that wherever they go, the military will do their best to make sure that they return their loved ones home, and by giving them the best training and equipment possible to do their mission.
Wonderful. Well, that is a feel-good moment that we are going to end on. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you so much for your service.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.